On March 17, 2019, Governor Willie Obiano marked 1 year that he was sworn in for his second term in office. On his swearing-in on March 17, 2018, he re-emphasized the purpose of his government, especially in making Anambra the first investment destination. What has been the journey so far? What's the story? What are the challenges? What are the prospects? What is being done and what will still be done? Those will be our focus on the show this morning as we look at the 1 year anniversary of Governor Obiano's second term in office. And we have joined us in the studio Professor Solochulobelo, Secretary to the Anambra State Government, join us to provide these angles. We'll also be considering what the ordinary man on the street will also be doing to ensure that that dream of Anambra is achieved. Prof, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay. Well, looking at the infrastructural development in Anambra State since 2015, it may be very difficult to draw a line between what Governor Obiano did for the past 4 years, that's the first tenure, and what he has done in this 1 year of his second tenure. But I know that you are still going to put us through to what is on ground for this celebration.
Thank you. I think it will be useful to go back to the overall, if you like, philosophy and theme that the governor set out back in 2014. In 2014, he had an economic blueprint which was split into the pillars and the enablers. And like you said, sorry, I forgot. David. And like David said, he actually articulated that in the vision mission statement. First, to make Anambra, the vision to make Anambra State the first choice of investment destination in the country, and the mission to actually create a socially stable environment where businesses, both indigenous and non-indigenous, can seek wealth-creating opportunities. That captured the essence of the Obiano administration, and that wasn't going to be something for 4 years. It was going to span over the 8 years. In that first term, the foundations were laid. And coming into the second term, we looked at this again and tried to operationalize this into a more easily understandable philosophy. And that is to create a vibrant private sector. If you look at the economic pillars, those will be driven by the private sector: agriculture, industrialization, trade and commerce, and the rest of that. And if you look at the enablers, that's where the public sector, i.e. the government, was going to focus a lot of its developmental investment, as it were. So to create a vibrant private sector that is supported by an effective and efficient private sector, that remains the overarching theme of Obiano administration. So in the first term, a lot of foundations were laid towards the achievement of that twin goal. And it has carried on. So in the first term, there was a lot of emphasis on ensuring that the enabling environment, which is controlled or which is shaped by by government, by the public sector, dealing with issues of insecurity, infrastructure deficit, and the rest of that. He's done extremely very well in that, giving, like I always said, giving Anambra people back that pride. You see, our people are a confident and reliant people. So there was a need, therefore, to recreate that pride in the Anambra people, and which also led to the philosophy of Akuluono. So once you got the imagination of our people in that sense, the government therefore set aside to begin to do those things that government do better, and which are also the key responsibilities of government, providing the security, which is the #1 enabling environment for whatever you do, if you do not ensure that life and property will be secure, nobody is going to come and live here either to work or do business. So that was a very major emphasis and remains the emphasis, as it were. And then the infrastructure, building roads that made economic sense to areas of economic activities, working also on the social sector, education, health, because these are all things that create the...
Okay, we could see on the screen shots of nightlife being restored in Anambra as one of the policies of security.
Yes.
I want to bring this angle to fore. One of the promises in security is something like this, the nightlife. There also a promise the governor made when he was being sworn, or in his inaugural speech on March 17. He talked about CCTVs being installed to ensure that the security architecture is sustained. What's being done in this angle?
That is actually on the, that will soon be rolled out. I understand the equipments have arrived, they will be cleared soon, so that everywhere bad people are, they will know that there is a big brother watching them, and they'll be cut out. So part of this security infrastructure, like you said, to ensure that the state is properly lit, because darkness and light do not mix. And what has also happened with that is that it has extended Anambra economy from about 6-hour, 7-hour economy it was in 2014 before he came into office, to almost like a 24-hour economy. You call it nightlife, but that is the entertainment industry, which normally takes off when the other sector of the economy is closing down, winding down for the day from about 6 p.m. or so. That is the way it is across the world. From about 7 p.m., the entertainment industry takes over, kicks in. And that is a very important sector of any economy, giving jobs to a lot of young people. Students find jobs to also supplement their stipend from their families, and that is what is happening across the state. So those CCTV cameras are coming, but I'm also able to share with you that yesterday we have people from Abuja, from Nigerian Communication Commission, NCC, because you see, we have an emergency call center that had laid unfunctional for almost 2 years, and the governor has put pressure on NCC to reactivate that. I'm happy to say that because I took a tour of that facility yesterday. It's coming up in shape. They've already trained where they're going to train dispatchers in the next 2 weeks. The call operators are already in place. They're doing the test roll. These are all part of the security infrastructure. NCC will be commissioning that sometime next month. And I'm pleased to say that the governor has actually put so much pressure on NCC to bring it back, because it's part of the emergency and security infrastructure of any state.
All right. But we're still looking at that security light as part of providing security to the entire Anambra state. You'll notice that these street lights are springing up here and there, and just this morning we saw that of Isofia and Newi. And we would like to find out, or an average Anambrian would like to find out, what is the scope of this project? Is it going to go around every town, streets, villages?
Let's put it this way. We are on a developmental journey, okay? Ideally, every nook and cranny of Anambra should be well protected. And if street lighting, even in your villages and the rest of them, are part of it. When we were growing up, we used to hear about rural electrification and the rest of them. That is part of it, okay? The street lighting, and also working with EEDC to ensure that communities are connected. Yes, it will go around, but it may not be completed within the Obiano administration. But the hope is that whoever comes after him, hopefully an ABGA governor, will key into this wonderful program of an ABGA administration. So yes, where do you stop? If I brought it to Newi and Isofia, the neighboring towns will want to have it. You know, so yes, it is a rolling program that is intended to go right around the state. But will it be completed in the Obiano administration tenure? It remains to be seen. But
the strategy has been put in place.
Yes.
Now, talking about sustaining the successes of this government beyond the Obiano administration, one of the high points of last year also was the development of the 50-year plan.
Yes.
I don't know how far this plan has been developed, and has the implementation started?
I must say that because of the electoral timetable, there is a technical committee that needs to be inaugurated. That technical committee hopefully will be inaugurated soon, because the electoral process, the timetable, somehow impacted on that. But yes, it's important to understand what His Excellency Dr. Willie Obiano is thinking in this direction. That quite often governments come, leave, and another government comes and simply start from it may be a completely new direction. If you notice what he has done when he came in and he campaigned on the principle of 4 Cs: continue, complete, commission projects started by his predecessor. And then commission and then commenced new ones and the rest of that. So, and he has kept faith with that philosophy. The 50-year development plan is to actually bring together all stakeholders in the state, including other political parties. Let's begin, because the Nigerian Federation, makes it possible for each state to be what they want to be. Lagos is busy implementing, going in the direction it wants to be. Anambra State can create a modern Singapore, a modern England, a modern Holland, a modern Texas. But it will need the coming together of us stakeholders, different parties, businessmen, different sections of the state, to begin to envision. This is actually where we want to go. These are the critical things we want to be able to achieve or implement in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and sign it off. And hopefully actually be, if you like, supported by a legislature, so that competition for power begins to be who has the best ideas on how to achieve this, on how to get to this journey quickest. And I think the Anambra must really see where the governor is coming from on this. Because at the end of the day, a government comes, finishes 4 years, 8 years later, another one comes, sometimes start from a different direction. So there has to be an overarching thing. Where are we going? What are the critical things? Like I said, he has envisioned this. We want to create a vibrant private sector that will drive this economy. What are those critical infrastructure that the private sector needs to be able to thrive? Now, if we can agree on that collectively, and these are, if you like, captured in the development plan, okay?
All right.
Then that begins to give direction and focus for administrations that come and go and the rest of it.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. We're still looking at the 1-year anniversary of Governor Obiano's second term in office, and so far we've looked at several dimensions of the achievements in 1 year and as well the past 4 years. When we come back, we'll look at Community Choose Your Project initiative and then reconsider the private sector, the creating of a proper environment for the private sector. Stay with us.
I like healthy food. I love tasty food.
You don't have to compromise on health or taste when making your meals. With new Mamador seasoning cubes, you can cook delicious meals and still take care of your family's health. The only seasoning cubes with 30% RDA of iron and zinc to boost your family's immune system while satisfying their taste buds with a unique, long-lasting flavor. Available in chicken, beef, and
All right, we also went to the streets where people gave their opinions on the assessment of the government in the past 4 years and 1 year plus of Governor Willie Obiano in office. Stay with us as we listen or watch what they have to say.
We must commend him for sustaining the tempo which he started in the first tenure. And, in the area of security, in the area of education, he has done well. I must confess that, democracy is about the people. His administration is people-oriented.
To the glory of God, he is laboring, he is making effort to accomplish fulfill his promises. As a human being, he may not have accomplished everything he proposed to do, but I think we are seeing things working better as some communities are choosing their projects and schools are always, teachers and lecturers are always happy when it comes to the way the governor is supporting them. So I think so far so good. He's doing well.
His second term in office, indeed, after the first term, has been, I would say, speaking for myself, he has been exceptional. Indeed, he has been exceptional because for some years now, we have never enjoyed the type of safety we have enjoyed in this state during his regime. We have enjoyed peaceful environment. In fact, specifically, I think it is the first time nightlife is coming back to Anambrarians. This is the first time we're having nightlife. We can move around freely at night. My office that is resident here in Aroma, I used to know how Aroma was a beehive of miscreants before now. But now in the night, you can move around freely.
Yes, it's still good morning, Anambra, and this morning we are looking at the 1 year anniversary of Governor Willie Obiano's second term in office. And we have in the studio someone who started this race with him right from the beginning in 2014, Professor Solochukwu Lobelo, who is the Secretary to the Government of Anambra State. Welcome again to the show.
Thank you, David.
All right, before we went on that break, we highlighted several things. Now, I want to look at Community Choose Your Project initiative. Several states now have adopted this model of development and are beginning to replicate it. What is the story behind the success of the 20 million naira Community Choose Your Project in Anambra State?
The story is quite enthralling, very, very clear. The governor came into office and looked at the budgeting process and realized that, yes, the state we can stay in our offices, draw up a budget, but at the end of the day, every aspect of the budget impacts on people. And therefore, he felt there was a need for a feed in the budget process by communities. And so the budget forum, which would essentially invite Igwes and PGs to actually tell the government the kind of things they would like to do done in their respective communities. This is over and above what the governor intended to do in the various pillars and enablers. And at the time, I was Commissioner for Economic Planning and Budget. The first year, we looked at it and felt, yes, many of the communities selected 3-4 projects. Some were executed through either the local government and the rest of them.
Okay, we can see some projects from communities being displayed on the screen.
Yes.
This one is Anako.
Yes, that's Anako. So, but then he wanted to formalize it. And he took the opportunity because challenges actually provide opportunities both for individuals and government to think differently. So in 2016, we had the recession. And he was thinking, how do I beat this recession in Anambra? He came up with his economic stimulus, canceling some levies for market traders and the rest of them. But typically, in economics, we say when you have a recession, you go on expansionary fiscal policy and contractionary monetary policy. Inject money into the economy. So how would you inject this money into the economy so that it reaches everywhere? And then that became the birth of Community Choose Your Project.
And so far, how will you assess it now?
It's gone very well. But before I say why, before I come to that, why has it been very successful? The governor insisted, because he wanted, you see, in economics, if I use a bucket to illustrate, if you pour water into a bucket and there is no leakages there, it will stay there. But once you start puncturing it, what will happen? It flows out. The species, it leaves that place. So to ensure that the money he was injecting in the communities stay in the communities, he said, first of all, the contractors, who must go through, by the way, the normal procurement process, at least 3 contractors from the community, must be from that community. The Igwes and PG must certify that those people bidding are from the communities. The laborers, the workers that will be used to execute them will be from the community. So if you then do that, that 20 million naira stay in the community. And with velocity of money and the rest of them, that 20 million naira can go around 10 times.
Okay.
You know, within that community. You will have depending on the marginal propensity to consume, you then look at the multiplier. So that was what made this very successful. I'm happy other states, Enugu and the rest of them are copying it. But they must also understand how it has been successful in Anambra.
Maybe they need to come here and then
get some training. Things must happen. So
okay. Right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. No doubt we know that the Community Choose a Project initiative of Anambra State is a very big success. But I know that on the onset of this dry season, that our governor instructed all the contractors handling road projects in the state to mobilize back to sites.
Yes.
Well, some critics says it is because of the election, that 2019 election, that one will now start and then they will drop it after the election. We want to find out. These road projects, are they still ongoing?
They are still ongoing. If you go around, you see that they're ongoing. He's inspecting, he inspects road projects almost 4 days of the week. Yesterday he inspected some and the rest of them. So they're ongoing. He cannot be inspecting things that are not ongoing. So if you look at his daily manifest, you see inspection of 1 or 2 roads. So the roads are ongoing. But let's put this also in perspective. Anambra State is a state with the, people normally say, the best network of roads in the country. Now, that is existing roads. New ones are coming up. Old ones are needing to be fixed, and the rest of them. So if you look at the state and roads, I'm happy that our people realize that road connectivity is very important in developing a state. And previous and this current government actually agree with that. So what you find is that the demand for road construction in the state is quite universal. Every community has a road or 2 roads or more that need to be fixed. There are also roads that connect communities. There are also
we have some people joining us from.
Okay, I didn't realize, but let me make that point. Okay. You also have roads within the urban areas, and these are all competing for the resources, and therefore there has to be sometimes prioritization of which ones to do.
Which one comes first?
Which one comes first? But even England, America, and the rest of it are still building roads. So road construction in Anambra will continue.
It's a continuous thing.
It's a continuous thing. His Excellency came and and improved on the various things he met, and so for the next 3 years he would do as many of these roads as the resources permit.
Okay.
All right, 25 minutes or 20 or so will never allow us to exhaust the different angles of development, education, infrastructure, and what have you. But I just want you to react to this, maybe in 30 seconds or so. What's the policy of government on housing? What is being done in that aspect of our economy?
Housing, we have Housing Development Corporation, which essentially is charged with developing new estates and the rest of that. We also have ANSIPA, Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, which also looks for investors in different sectors of the economy, including housing. And then you have social provision, as in terms of the state trying to see how it can alleviate the housing problems of the civil servants and the rest of them through the development of housing estate for the for civil servants, who have also made contribution into some scheme. So it is it stands on a kind of on tripod. When you look at it from government perspective, i.e. the housing corporation doing its bit, ANSIPA doing its bit, and through the contribution, working with the Federal Mortgage Bank to develop housing estate for civil servants. But by and large, like I said, Anambra economy is largely driven by the private sector. And it is also to ensure that our land procurement processes and the rest of them are addressed so that the private sector can come into. There is no government across the globe that can ever provide.
Because of time, this is how far we'll go. Thank you for joining us on Good Morning Anambra today. Maybe on a different day, we'll find more time to look at these issues.
Thank you. David, I was coming here thinking I had 1 hour for this program. I didn't realize it was a 30 minutes break. Because one of the other things I wanted to bring up is, you see, we keep talking about fiscal development. I said the strategy is, has a twin track. The vibrant private sector and the rest of it.
This point.
At some point, I would like to come back here and actually explain the other things, the soft development that are going to, which is not being captured. What is happening in administration too? Because at the end of the day, part of what drives a government is getting the systems right. So I would like to come back at some point and have a longer time.
You shall come back, sir.
Thank you, Ijoma. Thanks.
Thank you.